sorry, so stressful having him sitting by me yanking on my cords, and
All right.
Piper is so grounded.
Hello, everybody. We're back with another episode of
Well, hello there. I hit the wrong button in the beginning of this.
I heard Tim talking, and then he just went mute. He's like, "Hello, y'all." Boom. It's going.
That's all right.
It just disappeared.
Just had to get the beginning of that thing. I had to put the video.
Sometimes the mute button's the best thing for me.
You're here now, though. Right, you're here now. That's what matters.
Oh, trust me, a lot of people out there want that mute button when I'm on. Ask Adrian and all them. They want to mute me constantly.
No, we just need a beep, like a beep thing that covers up certain words.
No, well, that case, we did the whole show be beeping, beep 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 beep, and beep 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 beep, but beep beep beep.
But beep,
no.
beep, beep, yeah.
Tonight we have a Miss Charlotte Underwood. She's from the UK. Very talented, gifted lady. Before we start actually interview her, we want to kind of give a public awareness of something that was brought to our attention actually today. And I think it would be, I'm going to try to do this in a nice way so it doesn't offend anyone or anyone gets upset about it. But recently we had a guest on the show. His name was Robert Riggi. And he was a Freemason of Knights of Columbus. I'm sorry. He supposedly had witnessed Ted Bundy's execution. He's done a lot of work with children and stuff like that. And we didn't vet him as proper like we should have. But he is not that person. Actually, we found out he is a sex offender. He's also been arrested numerous times for theft. And as of right now, for what I've pulled up and searched him, he's also on a government watch list. So if this gentleman contacts you and wants you to go on your show or possibly do an investigation with them and anything like that, that is totally up to you, because I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. But I just want to give you the heads up of what this person is and who he is. Wow. I hear the train come.
Yeah, sorry, it's me.
That is loud.
The street. Yeah, there's the street in front of the house, and then there's a train. It's that close. And
you get used to it, though. You must do.
Yeah, it even went off at like 3 a.m. the other night.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I live under the flight path of Heathrow Airport, which is like the biggest one here, and they're constantly going over my house. Yeah. But you get used to it. You forget they're there, and when you have visitors coming in, they're going, "Oh, look at the planes," because they are low.
And you're like, "Oh yeah, I forgot they're there."
Yeah, we lived right next to a train track for a couple years, and after we moved away, I actually missed the sound of the trains going by.
I find that actually with the airplanes, like if I go and visit my dad in the north of England, it's like there's nothing, it's silent. It's like, where's the noise gone? Even though you don't hear it when you hear it's strange.
Yeah. It's kind of comforting after a while to me, actually. When you get used to it, I guess it gets more comforting.
But besides that, I just wanted to get that out there so people would know what's happening and stuff like that. So it's like I said, it's to your discretion. Do what you got to do. But like I said, it's just a warning and let you know what type of people are out there and who this individual is. Why does my mic keep doing that?
Yeah, and since we claim to be, like family friendly platforms, then it's good to cover our butts also.
Yeah. So, Miss Charlotte, now we get to you.
Yes.
How you doing? I know it's very early in the morning for you. It's like 2 a.m., 2:14 in the morning for you.
Yeah.
How you doing? Are you holding up?
I'm good. I've got my coffee.
Not me, I be.
I was nearly like that. I was like, oh no, I need coffee.
Hopefully David Childers won't spot this, He
knows.
He already knows. He's probably watching. No, he might not be.
He's been popping up a lot lately. He was on Sunday, I saw him, and then I saw him last Wednesday. I don't know if I saw him Monday night or not. No, I don't think so.
So tell us about yourself. You're international, and we talked about this before, a spirit singer.
Yes. So all that means is that because as a person works with spirit, their journey changes over time. It's never the same. So during the COVID period, so the first year of COVID, we were literally stuck at home. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't go anywhere apart from where I would go out for my runs, and that was it. And one thing I noticed with spirit, because as mediums, we didn't tend to do this sort of thing on a platform of the internet. It was all done in churches or on shows or anything like that. So spirit really had to change things up for us so that we could still help people, and that's what it has done the whole way through. And one thing they had me do was because I used to sing professionally, and they started to bring me back to the singing. And all they do basically, it's simple. It sounds better than it is. They just have me sing songs that are very memorable to that person, whoever I'm reading, and it has a significance to them and that person that has passed. So it'll be a very meaningful song.
I can relate to that. I used to sing in our church choir, and I've gotten back
I used
into
to sing in
music
a choir.
Did you?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
I can play instruments, but you don't want me singing.
Well, I can't play an instrument, so
I'm
you're
okay
in a choir,
at singing.
Though. I mean, you have to sing, but you're not the only one singing. So
I'm okay singing in church because I can sing bass. And I mean, I get like way down there.
Yeah, it's quite hard when because I remember standing in the church, and this new guy started, and he was bass like yourself, and he was right behind.
Yeah, I
me.
knew it couldn't last long.
It was booming.
Yeah,
I knew it couldn't last long.
Now we have two bald men in the room.
Yeah, well, there we go. I'm an instrumentalist. Play a tiny bit of piano, play a little bit of guitar. I can play a saxophone real mean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I played saxophone in a couple of professional jazz bands years ago. But yeah.
See, I've never been able to play an instrument in that respect. I tried, but before I was born, I had a bleed on my brain, and it caused me to have less feeling in my. You wouldn't know to look at my hands, but I've got less feeling in this hand, so I can't function it the way I can with my left. So yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, but a guitar I can't. I'd love to. I used to be able to play a recorder, but even that was hard to try and get a recorder. I'm so sorry.
That's the thing about playing guitar. My fingers have gotten so numb from gripping the strings that I can't feel anything in them.
Mm-hmm. That's good, though. When you have to do things that would hurt Crystal's hands, you can use your hands instead, your fingers instead.
Yeah, they're quite numb.
So, because it won't hurt.
I have to be careful if I'm doing cooking and things because obviously my right hand is weaker, so I don't have the same sensation as I do in my left. And so I have to be careful that I don't burn myself because I wouldn't feel it as quickly with that hand. So,
hey, Eileen.
Hi, Eileen.
What's up, Eileen?
And Donna and Michelle and Linda.
Yeah, everybody.
Eileen's in the room.
That's really cool, though. So basically, a spirit will give you a song to sing.
Yes.
So that way, someone can relate to the message.
Yeah.
So, like, you hear Elvis, or like, people like that, famous singers?
I can't sing
Johnny
like
Cash.
Elvis, obviously, but yeah, they can give me. I won't necessarily know the song, but they give it to me, and I don't know the words, but the words will come out and in the tune that it is.
I'm just saying it. I'm not trying to be funny about it. I'm just like celebrity singers. They'll, could they come to you like that and give you?
Oh yeah,
And you don't have to sing exactly like them, but they give you lyrics and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. I have had a couple.
The reason I'm laughing, Howard, is you flashed me back to the very first ever Ghostbusters movie when they're interviewing on TV and they're like, the question on everybody's mind: how have you seen Elvis and how's he doing?
Oh, Eileen, bless you.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been interested in singing as like a form of healing, like to help people, like if they're really sick or something like that, or little kids to comfort them.
I did on my show yesterday. I did a little memorial speech for my friend who passed last year, and while we were at the hospice, I knew his mum had passed, and I went in as his spiritual guide through his journey. And he loved Heaven, the DJ Sammy version, the candlelight version. And literally, I don't know how I did it because I was in tears, and all of a sudden the tears stopped. I just sang the whole song, and he was not there, and then all of a sudden he just looked at me, and I knew I was just like, I loved it for him. And
this is a question I want to ask you. Since you could do that, how about children in general? Like a child come to you, and what type of, if they have, what type of music would they sing to you? Would it be more like a child's song, or
I get children all the time, and a lot of the time you get nursery rhymes. Especially, it depends what sort of era the children are from as well. So one that you get quite often is Ringa Ringa Roses, and Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill, or Humpty Dumpty, or Little Bo Peep, or Oranges and Lemons is another one. Say the Bells of St. Clements. That's over here. You get that more because it's a London song, But but they can. Yeah, they can bring in normal songs as well, because sometimes they bring in a song for their parent or their grandparent, whoever, if it's connected to them. So they'll have a song that's connected with them because they used to listen to it when the child was around, and that child remembers,
I bet the parents start crying then.
Yeah, they do.
If they're alive, and the message is given to them.
I don't think I've had a person not cry when delivering songs to them, And I don't mean that, hopefully that's not bad, but no, they do. They cry with happiness.
Happiness, yeah.
Yeah.
Memory.
I know we introduced music really young to our kids. We would dance with them and stuff. At a very
important
age.
And it's a massive thing in my home. I always have music on, and it's around. My autistic daughter loves music. It's one of her drivers, so we always have music on, and it was so funny because her speech, obviously, some of the children don't speak, but she did, but it took her a long, long time to speak. But when it came to music, she would, if she didn't know the words, she would hum this tune so perfectly, and she'd have only heard it twice, and it's just, they're so clever, bless them little children.
Yeah. They are. It's crazy the things that they can remember or do. I was playing a memory game with Lincoln the other day, and he remembered better than me. And I was like, man, I really am old. I can't remember stuff. A 5-year-old can remember stuff better than me, and he's never done this before.
They do,
So
you know.
Eileen has,
Clever.
I think it's 2 questions. She said the first one is, do you find that a certain era comes across more than others? And she's asked another one here. Have you ever heard a song come through that you don't know? If so, how does that work?
Yeah, so that's what I was just
Yes.
saying here. So they
You
can
should read.
sometimes bring me a song. You know, I do love
You
you
should
know
read.
country rock. I love
With it.
country music. I love it, love it, love it. You know, and
Oh my goodness.
it's if they give me, I don't know all the songs, you know. So if I get,
Yeah.
say, I'm just using country rock as an example. If they bring me that song, they'll start giving me the words firstly, and then the tune comes in, and it's like I get a couple of seconds to adjust to it, and then all of a sudden it will just come out as if I know the whole song. You know, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just that I can't get the gist of it, because we're only human at the end of the day. We're a vessel, you know, for spirit. And sometimes it's like I can't get the gist of it, so I'll just hum the tune, you know, and then it goes that way. So, and going back to era, not necessarily. Obviously, on investigations, as I always say to people, it's like peeling an onion. So, you know, you're going back hundreds and hundreds of years. So there's not really one set era that comes to me, if that makes sense. So it depends on where we are. You know, it can be 14th century, 13th century, 12th century. It depends, you know.
Eileen, you should be getting into that white van, the white panel van soon. Little guy will be offering you some candy. You need to get in that van.
The abduction van.
Yeah.
See, unfortunately, over here we don't have that long of a history.
Mm.
I think people forget that from time to time. Americans tend to forget that.
I mean,
over there, history,
don't you live
history.
Yeah.
Don't you live like in a rural area?
Yeah, so I'm in just basically I'm in Windsor, which is Berkshire, which is basically very near London. It's about 40 minutes from.
There's a lot of battles and stuff that happened in the
Yes.
UK and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so
And bombs dropped and
yeah, and I'm actually originally from the northwest of England, and I used to live in a village called Sabden, and it was in the basin of Pendle Hill, and Pendle Hill was well known for the witches, but during the war, as the war was finishing, the military actually dropped bombs on Pendle Hill, and when I was living up there, I don't know if they've finished it now. The bomb disposal for the army were up there every single day, and you'd hear, and they were just detonating these bombs, and this was only like 50, no, more than that, about 20 years ago.
Wow.
So, and it was so, because obviously back then you didn't have your PVC windows, so it was like the old windows, and it would go with the windows because it was so close.
Oh yeah.
Were they doing tests, or they were actually dropping?
No,
them?
they detonate them. So that was when so these have been here since World War II.
Okay.
That's how they get rid of them. They don't want to touch them. They just put a little bomb on a bigger bomb and they blow it up.
Yeah,
that
so
way
it was.
I
mean, so many people go hiking over there as well, and you just think, God, they're walking over those.
Oh my gosh.
You know, yeah. But it was going on for years. So whether it is still now, I don't know whether they're still detonating them or if they've finished. But it's a massive, massive place. So who knows?
Yeah, it's
jogging along and boom.
So would they send like an EOD person over there, Tim? An EOD?
Yeah, so it's the military. So the army have bomb disposal. So they have like the robot. I don't know how it works exactly, but they have a robot that goes in and they sense where. I don't know how they measure it and stuff, but they're quite far down, these bombs, because they were dropped from a height, you know, and obviously land over time there has gone up. So yeah, they use the robotic system. I don't know how they actually detonated them, because you never saw them doing it.
What I'm asking about that is it's not so much as the bombs, but the people that were killed. And I mean, you have these skirmishes and all that. You can walk probably in your backyard or something, and a person's there. You know, you don't even know.
Well, Howard, you have to remember the place she's talking about was once ruled by the Roman Empire. That's how long the history goes back. I mean, it goes way back there.
Yeah. I'm a descendant of that.
I told you I'm a history guy, so.
Hey, Maddie.
I watch a lot of documentaries.
See, Eileen's got a question.
Yeah,
another question.
My wife is like crazy with with British culture.
Mm.
She's a big Queen person, loves everything there.
She'd love it.
She's a lady. She's also a lady. They own land out there somewhere. Don't you?
I live 10 minutes from Windsor Castle, so
I bought her for well, I don't remember what it was for. Her anniversary last year, I think.
Just because she wanted one.
I bought her 5 square feet of land in Scotland.
Oh wow!
So she's technically a lady.
Oh, bless her, the lady.
So you live 10 minutes away from Windsor Castle?
Yeah.
So do you try climbing the fence?
No, we just go in. You get to go. We get to go in free actually because we're local to the area, and also the military get to go in free because it's a military town as well.
Can you sleep there?
No.
Get a bed and just knock
No, because the Queen, I don't know if she's there right now, but she's been since Prince Philip passed away. She's been staying there more, and she's always seen it as her. It's always been her favourite, as far as I'm aware, home to be in. It's quite interesting though when you go in the chapel because you're going around the chapel and then you'll have sudden look down and there's a stone there for Henry VIII. It's like he's not actually under the stone; he's elsewhere, but. And I was saying this the other day in the vaults that they have under the chapel, and they're quite big, and they have actually lost track of who is who down there. So they don't know who is who in the coffins, and it's crazy.
Well, I know, there's so many people that died in battle and kings and stuff. Like they found King Richard in a parking lot.
Yeah.
King Richard the Lionheart in a parking lot.
That wasn't too long ago, actually.
No, just a few years back. Yeah. I was amazed that they found that.
Mm. And then you had what? You had WW2. You had WW1 that was fought. I believe that was with Germany again. That was through there and all that. And then can you imagine? Like I've seen on television where they excavated these trenches and stuff like that, where they had soldiers that died and they just filled up the trenches. That's basically what it was. When they just dumped them and left them
like a dead body trench. Yeah.
Well, it's like my grandpa, my dad's dad. He did what a lot of the boys did then. He was 17, but pretended he was 18 to sign up.
Yeah.
And so he was in World War II. I survived, thankfully. He's not here anymore, bless him. But yeah, he ended up going to Egypt, and he went somewhere else as well. But he had a spiritual experience when he was in Egypt.
Down fighting Rommel.
And he basically because I never forget him telling me this, and he said to me, he said, Charlotte, he said, I heard a woman's voice in my ear that said, you need to go this way. And he was a private, and he stood up to his Sarge and said, Sarge, I know we need to go this way, not that way. And Sarge just basically washed his hands of him and said, if anyone wants to come with me, come with me. If you don't, go with Harry. And basically the ones that went with my grandpa all survived. The ones that went with Sarge passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So does the UK people, British people or people living in UK, are y'all pissed off that, what is his name, Harry, married that American girl, and now he's in turn turned down the crown and because he's in love and wants to raise his family and all that?
I'll just say not my view, but possibly my view. No one likes her here. She's not well liked.
Because she's American. I bet
it's nothing to do. No, it's nothing to do with
her attitude. Is it like her attitude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was very rude to people. I know some people that work on the Crown Estate, and how she treated her staff was appalling.
Yeah, I've heard and read articles, but you never know unless you actually hear from a person. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you read something, it's usually embellished, but if you hear from a person, then it's a better.
Yeah. It's because she's
testimony.
A bitch. She's a bitch.
Beep, beep. There's that beep button.
Don't say that.
Eileen said Henry VIII was my husband's cousin, and he beheaded my cousin Catherine. My husband is a direct descendant of King Richard. That's neat.
Oh, wow.
But it's not neat that your cousin beheaded.
No, but the descendant bit.
I didn't put that up there because Eileen Jones is from Mississippi. I don't see no English blood being in Mississippi.
Oh, there's lots of English blood.
There's English blood everywhere, as there is Irish.
But not like.
So watch Charlotte's reaction.
Like its own little state, It's
watch Charlotte's reaction here. My great grandfather was a little.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So my
Wow.
grandmother's maiden name was Little.
I know some littles.
I do too.
Yeah.
Not
So
kin to him, but I know some.
I have some English blood.
Sorry, you lost me there. I don't know if it was my internet then. Sorry, I got part of that. I heard you talking about it and then it went off the
Yeah, I
internet.
was saying
Sorry.
my grandmother was a Little. That was her maiden name. My grandfather was a Hensley.
Ah,
So I've got some English.
yeah,
And
you
then my
have.
wife is a Davis and a Hughes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Davis
Yeah.
and where?
I got no English in me. I'm sorry. I'm all French.
Well, I've got all different things. I've got Norwegian, I've got Irish, Southern Irish, obviously English, and
I'm
then
Irish.
Scottish, and
Me
a little
too.
bit of Spanish as well.
I got
Bit of a
Irish
mix.
and Scottish and Cherokee and
Mostly
German.
I'm German. My last name is Kohler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gabe is Spanish. He's
Yeah.
we're 50-50 owners in this everything.
Hello,
He's my
Gabrielle.
partner. So he's my partner in everything. And yeah, he's Spanish and
And he gave me the best bottle of rum I've ever had in my life.
really he didn't give me shit.
What? I'm jealous. I love rum. That's my favorite. What
Oh
kind of
my
rum was
Lord.
it? What kind
It
of
was
rum
from
was it?
Nicaragua.
Oh my goodness.
Rosie, did you say you're from Cherokee background?
Yes.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, Cherokee,
Yeah, I've got
German,
that
Scottish,
too.
and Irish. I used to always tell people when I was dating, I would say, I'm Cherokee, Irish, Scottish, and German. Do not piss us off.
No.
Because we're all crazy in here. No.
I tell everybody I'm German. I'm German, English, Irish, and Native American. So, you know,
Mhm.
if you see me with a drink in my hand, don't judge.
Some kind of drink.
I'm French. I'm sorry, but I'm just French.
Well, that's
He's
okay.
a fry. He's a fry.
Somebody has to be.
I'm a frog. They call them frogs.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's some lovely French people.
I'm a mutt. A little bit of
I think
everything.
we all are to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Linda, Gabe does the graphics for this show. The posters and stuff for this
He
show.
does.
I do
He
the
does
other
do a really
stuff.
good job.
Yeah, I do the stuff for the other posters for Swamp, Petri Dish, and Unholy Trinity. So that's what I do.
I know. I just
gotta get- I
realised
gotta
I
get him
said
to do
Gabrielle.
something.
It's not. It's Gabriel, isn't it? Sorry, level up.
I got to get Gabe to do something.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
he
can
gets
talk.
both of them. He probably gets called everything.
Oh, no, Gabe's a good man, though. He
He's lovely. He
Yeah.
sent me a message today about being on the show, or yesterday about being on the show. So bless him.
yeah,
He's
he's a
very
good
nice.
guy. Yeah,
He's a very nice guy.
A sweetheart, and he needs to give me some Nicaraguan rum.
I was at
Yeah,
his house.
where's my Nicaraguan rum, Gabe?
Rosie, I was
I
at his
love
house. I was at his
Oh
house at
my
the time.
gosh!
Gabe's going to tell you go to the same store he went to and buy
Said
it.
I'm a Mexican. Well, welcome, Charles Rudd, the
He's a
Mexicano.
Mexican, yeah.
Oh, the Texican. Oops.
Yep.
I thought I said
Texican. But no, I just the culture over there and the history. We want to get there someday.
Mm.
We're going to try to get over there someday and go see our little plot of land in Dunfermline. Is it Dunfermline or Dunfermline?
Yeah, Dunfern. Yeah, well, it depends how. Some people say Dunfermline.
Okay.
So how far? Let me ask you this: if I fly into the UK, say London, I fly into London,
Uh-huh.
but I wanted to go to Ireland and Scotland also.
Yeah.
Me
It's
too.
a plane
Ireland's
ride.
fun.
Is it a plane ride?
Yeah,
How
you
many
can drive.
hours?
You can drive and
How
get the
many
ferry
hours is
to
drive?
Ireland. But it's like 7 hours up to. This probably isn't much for you guys, but
No,
it's quite a way up to Scotland, depending on where you go. So it's
about
a lot
7
easier
hours.
just to jump on a plane here at Heathrow and just fly up.
From
About
here, it
7.
would be a lot longer than that, though.
Because I drove 14, 15 hours just to get to Kansas.
Yeah, it would be
Wow.
closer to. It would probably be closer. Depends on how many connecting flights you have, but it would probably be closer to that. Because I've
It'd be
actually
like me going to your house, Rosie.
Yeah,
You're
I've
about
flown to
7 hours
London
late.
before, and I've flown to Paris before. I have flown to Greece before. I've flown to different parts of Greece and Germany before, and I've never had less than like a 13 or 14-hour flight to get to those places, and then reconnected again and again and again to get to Greece and to the island.
Trust me, I've flown from San Diego to South Korea.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
it's about a 20-hour flight.
My middle daughter, she's rather obsessed with South Korea.
Yeah.
I was stationed in San Diego and Seoul in the Navy.
Okay.
So
I actually flown off my roof. I was up there trying to fix a window and on the second story, and I fell off and I flew. I bounced pretty good too. I noticed that.
Those flights across the Pacific, they're quite long.
Mm-hmm. Well, I went to Vegas in November, just gone, and that was 10 hours.
Yeah.
So it was, and that was a straight over. On the way back, we had to fly into JFK and then back to Heathrow, and it was just, ugh.
That's your broomstick, Marlene Jones. That's your broomstick.
Yeah, it's not the nicest airport in the world.
It's so packed full of people. Yeah. JFK and LAX, they have to be the two worst.
I wanted to go to
I don't know.
Oh, there was either Boston
really
or Atlanta or JFK, and it was just JFK was a shorter layover time. So
you get to see a lot flying in and out of JFK.
So when you come to the United States, Charlotte?
May.
And what are you doing here in the United States, if you don't mind me asking?
Doing some investigating.
Oh, really? Not with David Childress. I hope not with David Childress.
Possibly.
Oh my.
So,
look at your face.
Should we pray
is there any place in the U.S. that's like on your bucket list that you
Waverly Hills? Oh, 100% Waverly Hills.
We're boycotting Waverly Hills, though. You know that, right? We're boycotting Waverly Hills right now.
You are really?
Really? Yeah. There's a boycott.
They've kind of kicked the owners of the property out. The Historical Society has.
Yeah.
And they've filed this ridiculous lawsuit against them.
These people don't have much. I mean, they take care of Waverly Hills. They fix the stuff that breaks and stuff like that. And they little by little fixing it up.
So we're kind of boycotting it just from the fact that we're trying to say, hey, let's get it back to the right owners, the rightful owners.
I got the website up for you right there. Eileen put it up. www.savewaverlyhills.com.
Yeah, you can actually
get a little bit more to the story too. Like it's a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah,
it's really sad. Yes.
But no, I investigated there last year with Rosie.
Mm-hmm.
We had a wonderful time.
Yes, we did.
And then I drove from there all the way down to Howard and saw Howard for a few days, and then I drove 15 hours home.
And he's never been the same. No.
We went to the French Quarters. We did.
Yeah, we did.
We drank at Pat O'Brien's. Oh yeah, we was all. Yeah.
I got to see Pirate John Lafitte's blacksmith shop.
Yeah. That's where I want to go. Anything pirates.
I think there's one place as well.
The Laurie Mansion. You took pictures in front of the Laurie Mansion.
Yeah,
that place. Wow, that's why I'm trying to get in now.
There's a good one as well because I did a video call with. I don't know if you know Johnny Haney. He's a friend of mine.
He sounds familiar.
So he has he does I think it's called the Rizza Hotel, and it used to be a hospital, and that was interesting because I did a remote viewing with him as we went round while they were still doing it, doing it up, and that looks like quite a good place as well.
Well, you need to come down, like Arlene says. I mean, it doesn't have to be Louisiana. I mean, we can drive you to Louisiana, but you need to come down to Mississippi and the Louisiana-Mississippi area. Eileen knows what I'm talking about. They got contacts where there's an old funeral home that we can investigate down here.
See, we don't get things like this here.
And there's a hospital that's actually you can investigate, an abandoned hospital.
But you have castles, and we don't.
We do have castles, but we do get sanatoriums and but things like that. Old funeral homes, and there's certain places and that's. I get jealous. I'm like, I'd love to be doing that, but you can't do every single one. I'd be flying out there every time, every minute of the day.
Have a property.
It's like us, we get jealous of your castle.
Yes.
Especially
the other things like the Battle of the Roses and like all of those different war sites and stuff.
I do remember today, David put a picture up on his Facebook of a castle in New Hampshire. But I don't know if it was a real one. And then I whacked a picture on there of Windsor Castle from the River Thames while we were on a boat on the river.
Was it a white castle?
That's a castle.
Like White Castle burgers.
Yeah, see that? I mean, just say you can sleep in the funeral home. Just don't let David snore and scare you.
Oh my
See,
goodness.
we do a lot of like old prisons and old jails.
Mm.
This year we'll be doing Mansfield Reformatory, which is huge.
Oh wow!
It's
See,
several buildings.
we have been able to do a lot of old prisons, but they've taken that away and
Mm,
stopped people going in. And it's like these are the places that are so interesting. You know, it's like I am so desperate to go to Alcatraz because I'm actually going to San Fran, and I know at the moment Alcatraz isn't. Well, I believe it's still not open to the public, but
yeah,
you know, I really want to go there. And it's not too because as soon as I walk in there, I don't need the equipment. I'll just hear and
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't wait.
Well, March 12th, we'll probably be going live from the old Lake County Jail in Crown Point, Indiana.
Mhm.
It's the last place that housed John Dillinger when he was alive.
Oh,
So he
really?
was
Oh,
the
wow.
famous American bank robber.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if you ever watch the movie Public Enemies, Johnny Depp actually filmed part of that movie in the jail there.
Yeah.
And it's the place where he leaned on the lawyer and made the symbol of the gun. That's
Yeah,
the exact
I've only
same
seen one
jail.
of. Ah,
That's the
right.
jail that all happened in.
Oh my
Yeah, but it's
goodness.
like you could have came up to North Louisiana. I think y'all stopped there where Bonnie and Clyde was killed.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So we
That's
we do a lot of that kind of stuff, and
Mm,
when we can.
yeah. I mean, we have a true crime museum that's well, we have a few around, but there's one in the Sussex area, and basically in Hastings, and that's in the further south than where I am. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours from me,
Mhm.
and it's some that I haven't actually been to this place, but my colleague Liam, who's my teammate basically for the paranormal team, he has been there before, and his daughter was telling me they've been where she's been as well, and it was quite disheartening when I was hearing about all these. They've got a bath in there, and for the life of me, she was telling me who it was to do with, but I didn't know who this was. But there was this bath in there, and there was still blood marks on it and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is just look at what these people have been through. It's like I did an investigation with another team years ago, and it was up in it's near basically it's just gone out of my brain. So, it'll come to me. Ignore me. It's where Shakespeare's original house was, and yeah. So Stratford upon Avon. There we go. Duh. Sometimes my brain just goes ching. And we went to a local shop that was there called the Creaky Cauldron, and it was run by a fantastic guy, Dave, who's passed away now, bless him. But going in there, it's where I had what I would call not scariest, because I don't get scary things happening, but to me, but it was this uncomfortable, shall we say, at this place. And as soon as I walked in, and I just blurted out the word murder, you know, and just I kept being touched on my head, and I thought, oh, they're showing me a hat here. I said to him, have you got a hat from a murder in here? And then all of a sudden I just heard Jack the Ripper in my ear. And
oh my goodness.
I went upstairs, and there Jack the Ripper's hat was sat in a box in one of the rooms. You know,
Wow.
and it's just wow.
How about Ram's Inn? You ever been to Ram's Inn?
The Ram Inn, the ancient Ram Inn. Yeah, so that's the gentleman that used to, I wouldn't call him a gentleman to be fair, but his daughter's lovely. He's not. He was really rude, right? So I've not actually been to this place, and there was people used to go there to investigate, and obviously it's a very old building, and he would say to people that were bigger, you're too fat to go up those stairs, you can't go up there, you know. And he was just so really, really rude to people.
Okay.
You know, and so that's what's put me off actually going there, you know. But now it's obviously he's passed away now, and I believe it's his daughter that's taken it over, and I think they were going to sell it. I'm not sure if they are selling it, and I know a colleague from over here has been and investigated there since, but it's just never appealed to me. not just because of that. It's just never appealed to me to go there.
I know they found a lot of satanic stuff in there and everything. I mean, there was a lot of weird shit
He
like that.
He was very, very. I mean, we're all
And he
strange
claimed to
in
have
our own
sex
way,
with
but
the
he was
ghost.
very strange,
You know, it's
man.
like the succubus was coming in and he was having sex with this thing and everything else. So, I mean, I don't know. His God sound weird, and you know. I mean, but I just like.
Did he record
Lupin
this?
Tuesday.
Let's hope not.
Well, I'm just saying for evidence, purpose, or proof.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
Because you could just wake up and have a wet dream. I'm just saying.
I do believe with certain locations, the people that either own them or are running them can actually make situations worse to what they actually are.
Yeah.
You know, and make out that there's more there than there is, because it's money. You know, but then you get genuine people that take over venues. There was a lady on one of David's shows a few weeks ago, and she's taken over this venue, and she's genuine, you know, and she's trying to get this place, you know, to where it needs to be, and she's doing okay with it. I was listening to the interview, you know. Yeah, it's sad when they do that, because there's no need, because these buildings have so much history anyway. Why put something there that's not? You know, I went not obviously not there, but it was another inn in Thatcham, and the gentleman that runs it would have the Ouija board out, and this particular table where he would do it would always bring family members in for people, but every single time he would be on the glass like this, moving it with all his force, moving it, and that's why I just refused to work with this man, you know, on a, you know, a board, because it's got to be done with honesty and truth at the end of the day, you know.
Just what John said. That's funny.
It's one of the reasons why I typically research places a lot before I go, because there's so many times, like, not everybody on our team needs to know the research before we go.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I don't research, because actually, you know, like you said, with you, obviously you doing the historian side of things, and I think that's wonderful. And there's a gentleman up that used to work with my dad actually years ago, called Simon Entwistle, and he is a fantastic historian for Pendle and what we were talking about for that area, Clitheroe, and he's been on television with it and stuff. But the way he does it is so historically correct. You know, anything else is of no importance to me, because it has to be done correctly.
Right. The reason that we don't tell everybody on the team, because there's people that don't want to know before they go in. But we like to do it because, like, the first time we investigated, we didn't really research a whole lot. And I went to this place and I had this really incredible personal experience. And then I came back and I did some research and it actually validated it.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. Go in first and then research.
Yeah. But then I started researching before I go. That way, in case somebody has that personal experience, then I can tell them, look, this happened historically. So it kind of validates what you had.
We have quite a good, I think, with the places that we go to, we do have quite a good relationship with the owners or the proprietor, whatever you want to call them. And they can be very informative, or, you know, after an investigation. So my colleague Liam, he will do research, but he won't fully research it all the way down the line, because we've just done the Mermaid Inn in Rye, because we were filming that for the TV show, and the lady she's had it, I think she said 29 years she's owned the building, and she's so lovely. You know, we're going back in January actually of next year, and she is so informative, you know, and it's great to have people like that. But you will go to places where they don't know anything, you know, and it is important to have somebody that does research.
I mean, that's sad when you don't, you know, even the places that they don't know what happened in their own place, you know. So, Charles Rudd's asking, Charlotte, have you ever investigated Pendle Hill Rock
Quarry, where the witches were?
Yeah, where witches called up Satan.
No, I haven't. So with Pendle, my history there, obviously I used to live in the village Sabden, but I have a big thing because I have spent so many years over that way, and I have a big thing about these beautiful people being called witches in the first place, because they actually weren't. It was just one of them, Alice Nutter. She was basically a landowner, and she had money, and she was a woman. And back then, men didn't like this. They wanted her land, so they accused her of being a witch.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were probably intimidated by her.
Yeah, they were totally intimidated.
It's very close
so sad.
There was one trial where they went on a child's word, and it was just insane, And you had the two. So the Lancaster witch trials. I'll come back to the quarry bit in a minute, but the Lancaster witch trials, you had families feuding, and it's like they're just feuding families, and what one case in particular, one of the ladies, she was basically walking along this path, and this guy came cycling down, and it turned out he had an fit, and they thought it, because she was trying to offer help, they thought it was her doing witchcraft, and it just boggles my mind, because I've come, my background when I go past lives is I was a white witch, I was a healer, I was a white witch, I was a healer again, and it really irritates me when they use the word witch in such, because there's some beautiful people out there who practice witchcraft now who are amazing, and they do it in the right way, and also they do it to protect people, and it just really winds me up. But no, I haven't done the quarry, but I used to literally go over Pendle Hill to school, and quite often you'd see there was actually, I'm going to do this, a witch buried right across from the Wellsprings, which was a pub. It's now a restaurant, and it was on the side of the main road, because this main road, you just go over the hill. There's no barriers or anything, and we used to just drive past, and I'd see her stood there. I'd see the monks walking across the land, because there's a place called Worley Abbey in the village that's nearby. And they used to have a walkway from Worley Abbey up to Pendle Hill, because it was their exercise. And, and they'd walk out on the hill and then go back. And quite often you see a monk just floating across, and it was such a beautiful place. So I haven't actually investigated there. But when Most Haunted also did their live of Pendle, was not impressed with that at all, because they were saying, oh, they're coming, and I'm like, they're already there behind you, but you can't damn well see it because you're not doing it properly, and this is years ago. And I'm like, these people are angry. They're not angry because you're there, they're angry because of how their lives were taken, and it's like, come on.
Almost reminds me of the Bell Witch. That's what
I almost hate to say it, but yeah. When I was younger and I would watch Most Haunted, I would just kind of laugh sometimes. But and we have shows like that here where I watch them and I laugh.
Like Ghost Adventures.
Ghost Adventures. Yeah. I laugh every time.
I think with shows like this, though, built for entertainment purposes, aren't they? At the end of the day, they're not really true to the nature of paranormal investigating.
And they have to do what they have to do to get ratings. Over here, they have to do what they have to do to keep people watching it, because the second people stop watching it, their show's gone. Their money.
Probably is good for the location to put them on the map and get them out there, so people like us will go there, though. But
but it was like a certain team. I'll just say a certain team came from the States over to the UK and went to a fort, and they came and they opened a massive portal and left it wide open. And we went there, and I'm like, oh no, straight away it had, and it was not good. It was not good. And they didn't realize what they'd done. And this is what, for me as a medium, it annoys me when people don't like to have a medium on board in a team, because I don't go in there and go, oh, this has happened. I like people to experience the whole thing of actually investigating and seeing these spirit, or sensing them, and I help people to do that, and this particular place was left in an absolute mess, because of this team, and it's like, you shouldn't be going into these places if you're not doing it with the pure heart, you know.
Yeah.
This team
because
this is American team
And respect of the place
television. It was for
too.
television.
Sorry, it's just breaking up a little bit as you're speaking.
Was this?
Sorry,
was
say
this
again.
Show, was this team for television? They were shooting
Mm-hmm.
for a television show.
Yeah.
That's all I had. I just want to ask. What did you say?
They were probably. I said they need to respect the place more, respect the reason that they're there more, and respect who else is there that they're trying to communicate with, and act like it's someone's home that you're walking in, like it's your grandma's house you're walking in.
Well, they don't give a shit because they
need to. It doesn't matter if they do or
they
not.
should.
Because at the end of the
do
day,
what they're going to do.
I always think that it's going to haunt them and bite them in their butt when they don't.
Right.
Well, it makes you laugh because like these people do all these things and then they wonder why they get sick and they wonder why they get mentally ill and things happen to their family, things happen in their home. Wake up and smell the coffee. You know, you're not actually investigating. You go in there, and when people say, and this is no disrespect to anyone who uses the word hunters, but I just personally don't like the word hunt because you're not hunting them. They are not animals. They are people. They are still people, even in spirit, and you have to respect them. You know, and that's the way it should be done. Not go in, you know, gored in spirit and things like this.
That's why we call it an investigation. That's what I call it. And then I call it like we're investigators. You know, that's all that's what I did.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from because they, like you said, they were people. That's like, you know, what happens if your mama passed away and she was in there? Would you want me going there and hunting her? No. You want me
your grandma.
Come in. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about.
You know, and actually you will find a lot of the time these places that are having big problems are because of certain people that have gone in.
Yeah, they need to get a soul cleansing.
Yeah.
Or put them at
100%.
rest. Or whatever's in there. Rest, you know, let them be easy with it.
They need to like research more of deeper stuff before they're going to go somewhere like that, like how they are. And if they're in a bad energy, they're going to go somewhere and they're going to just mess everything all up.
But it's like I had and I don't, you know, I won't go out and badmouth people, so I'm not going to say this gentleman's name. But this gentleman was posting pictures and he posted a video of what he said was spirit. And it was quite clearly a human being. And there was shadow on the door frame behind. You know, you could see the bright white socks they were wearing. You could see the movement, and there was it was basically you couldn't dispute. It was anyway. He was like, no, and this guy is advertising him.
Maybe he was drunk when he took the photo.
Oh no, because he and you know, a big bugbear of mine is when people go, oh, it's an orb. Oh, it's an orb. People don't realize how hard it is for spirit to actually form in an orb. As an orb, you know, and we have got some fantastic footage and fantastic pictures from certain venues where we have an orb and we have the spirit right behind it, you know, and that is fantastic to get. And that was on the TV show that I was on before because they used our information, and they just it winds me up when I see these people advertising themselves, going, "Oh, I'm here to help clear your house." They don't know what they're clearing. They couldn't wipe the backside as quick as, you know. And it's like, sorry.
I know
it just winds me up because I'm the one, and there are other mediums and paranormal investigators who are fantastic, and we're the ones that go in and have to mop up after them. You know, and these people should not be doing what they say they're trying to do.
So you believe in orbs? Because there's a lot of paranormal investigators out there that really don't give any consideration.
They must not have very much experience then.
No, because I mean, I've been doing this 25 years now, you know, and I've seen there's so many that you can, you know, dust, flies, you know, there'll be something. It's not an orb. But when you catch, like I did a private residence and their security system was elite, you know, and we caught this residual energy, and you could literally, it started off in a ball shape. So this is why people call it an orb, because it's an energy. It's an energy that's there. But they've got to remember these energies have to come from somewhere for people to be able to see them. You know, so if you're in, there was nobody in this place at the time, and this residual, and you could see him moving, and all of a sudden it was like this, just a small ball of energy, and then it started to form into the shape of a person, and you could see he was just jutting around doing what he would normally have done. You know, and yeah, people use it too easily. Oh, it's an orb, it's an orb, no, it's not. You know, you have to really, because an orb has substance to it. So the best way I describe it to people is if you envisage in science a nucleus, and in the middle, you know, you've got to have the nucleus in the middle of the cell, and it basically will have the nucleus in the middle. You'll have surrounding area that's quite dark, and then sometimes people see faces in them, which you can. It's very rare, but you can. And then they start to change colour, so they won't just be white. You know, there's lots of different colours that you can see. So yes, there are such things, but they are a rarity to see, because it takes spirit such a lot to be able to form this energy ball.
And I think that's why a lot of paranormal investigators are real leery to, like I've always said, I'd rather call something not paranormal and it be paranormal than call something paranormal and it be nothing at all. You know, and I think a lot of paranormal investigators are starting to get that mindset, because, you know, it's just so easy to debunk stuff when you're not there seeing it for yourself. You're not, you know. So a lot of paranormal investigators have really shut down sharing evidence and stuff, because it's just
which is really sad, because it shouldn't be that way.
Science.
You know,
I've captured 2 orbs in my yard. Well, because with the history of my property,
and in the closet video that you guys took,
and then they had 2 orbs. One was a bigger orb and one was a smaller orb. My daughter was pregnant. And you see the big orb, and I mean, this was a pretty decent sized orb, and it was green, had a lot of green, and looked like flakes, you know, like starburst. And that orb went through, and then the little orb, we zoomed in on it, and it looked like an ultrasound picture. You could see a fetus. And I have that picture. I still have. I got to look for it, but I have those pictures of those orbs that were going into the house. Was coming into the house. So
I think
I also believe that someone could perceive it differently too. Like you're saying, how you described the orb to look like, he would have perceived it the way that she wanted him to see it, and she would have wanted him to see the ultrasound.
Well, it's only like pareidolia, isn't it? You know, you've got somebody seeing one thing, and then somebody will see
but the
another.
thing is, I have the picture of it. I do have the picture of it. I mean, you can.
But how you've described it, though, Howard, that does sound like it actually is what it is. You know, because the fact that you've got the colour there as well, because quite often, to be fair, I'm going to use the word orb, but I just like the word, because it is an energy ball. It's an energy field, and very rarely would they be white. Very rarely, because they do have colour to them, and the fact that you said green to me as well makes it.
I mean, I got a picture of the front of the house, and it looks like somebody threw a handful of Skittles in the yard. I mean, that's what it looks like. I'm telling you, I mean, I have red, green.
Maybe they did.
I got all.
But you've had you said you've got a lot of history on the land, haven't you? With where you are. So is there a lot? I don't know if you've said to me before. Is there a lot of Native Indian history?
It's on Indian burial ground.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you'd said or not. It's not something I was picking up, but yeah. I mean,
that's
you're going to
get too, though. But I felt it, because I think I'm not just saying because I'm Native American, but I live in a very heavily populated. One of the most heavily populated Native American places where people move to live here. People come from California and move here to live here because they're Native American.
Even Bigfoot lives there.
Yeah, but I think that I've always felt when I go somewhere, if there's Native Americans there, like I can hear them in my ears even sometimes. It's weird.
Do you not find though, Rosie, as well? Sorry, Tim. I was just going to say, do you not find that it annoys me when people talk about Native American land, how it's, you know, we've got an Indian burial ground here, automatically presume it's a bad thing.
No,
it's not. It's peaceful. It's so they are peaceful people.
Sometimes it's sad, I would say, and that might not be peaceful, but it's not bad.
So it's kind of funny, Charlotte. the
Yeah.
people that ended up moving, the Native Americans that ended up moving to Rose's area,
Mm-hmm.
came
And the Trail
from
of
my
Tears.
area.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Trail of
really?
Tears came
Yeah.
through here.
Yeah, they started here, and then during the War of 1812, when they were forced out, they were taken there. So, yeah, it's an interesting.
It's a beautiful culture. It's something
It
that
is.
Yeah,
I
it's very
certainly.
peaceful, very beautiful, but just
It
don't
is.
go messing with their graves.
No.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. They're going in there, they're bulldozing this, these mounds and stuff like down here are mounds. Sometimes you have someone that they put them up in the air and stuff like that. It depends on I guess the tribe. And
Yeah, of
here,
course.
like I said, they're burying it. It's just bulldoze all over that
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah,
And
that's
it's that's when the shit gets real.
yeah.
And
that's because, like Rosie said, the sadness is there, and it's like, hold on a minute, this is someone's resting place. Have
Right.
respect for that. We had so the local church where I am, they were having an extension done at the back of the church, and a new church room, so a community room, and it took so long because they had to get permission for these 2 graves to be moved, and when they went into the actual grave, there was nothing there, and it took over a year to get all the permissions from the local council, the local societies, to okay this move, and done with respect. Just coming in, like you said, bulldozing. That's awful. It's absolutely awful.
It is.
Like you're saying about your grandparent, you won't want your grandparent being bulldozed, or
your
it's
mom.
like,
Let's dig up your mom.
Fortunately,
no, that's not cool.
Fortunately, around here, they've really started to respect that culture. We have a state park. It's a couple hours from here. It's called Mounds State Park. There are burial mounds there. They're there. You can't walk on them. Right. They don't allow you to walk on them, but they allow you to go up to them and see. And they have signs up that explain the culture. And there's also a really cool. It's a dug-in spot that looks like it almost looks like an amphitheater. And it was a ceremonial place. And you can go and you can still see these things. And then during the War of 1812, the battle that took place close to my home was called the Battle of Missinawall. Only 5 U.S. soldiers lost their lives, where there was hundreds of Indians that lost their lives.
Yeah.
But even all the way back then, they gave those Indians headstones and engraved their names on them. So they had respect for their culture, even though they didn't. The soldiers are buried right next to the river, which is where the natives would have been buried, and the natives are buried separately up on a hill, not next to the body of water.
Yeah.
So, for that reason, it's a little bit, but on the same hand, and the funny thing is, when I was in the soldiers cemetery and I had an EVP recorder with me and I had it going and I was just listening and, nothing going on really. It was middle of the daytime. And when I came back home and played it back, I got native war drums.
Oh, wow.
The drums,
it's amazing what you can get during the day, though, because people go and they're like,
I got a picture. I got a picture. I'm gonna send it to you, Charlotte. We did an investigation, and it was a mobile home, and right next to the mobile home, there's a figure standing there. You can see it, and it looks like it has a headdress on and everything. So I mean, this thing was awesome. It was a great capture. I mean, the person that took
I
the
think
picture
that's where people fall foul, because do they think that spirit disappeared during the day? Oh no, they don't. They're still there.
Yeah.
It's just it's for our eyes that people like to do it at night. Because they think they see more. But actually, you can very, very much experience things during the day.
The jail that we're going to on March 12th. I actually believe that it's more active during the daytime. The air in there feels heavier during the daytime.
Yeah, because that's when they would have been awake.
Right. At night, they were in lockdown. They were locked in the cells at night.
A lot of people believe that our nighttime, their daytime is our nighttime. So you have that conception of it too. So I mean, people just need to be educated that shit happens all the time. It doesn't matter if it's day or night.
Yeah.
They're like fish. They don't go to sleep.
There's no element of time in the world of spirit. There isn't.
Right. Yeah.
So we can be coming, it's 2:00, 3:00, and that the element of time is just totally not there. And you see this because when spirit, first pass over, and then a few months down the line or a year down the line, somebody comes for a reading, that spirit might not even realize that they've been passed for that length of time, because to them it was like yesterday, and it's so raw with some of them, and that's what we forget.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally agree. I've tried to one of the experiments that I've tried is like playing music from the era that possibly they would have lived in.
Perfect.
Yeah. If I'm there and it was happening place in the 20s, I'll throw on some Glenn Miller band, play some old ragtime, big band jazz, see if that gets, things going. My dog's going nuts. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought. I was like, I hear a puppy scratching the floor. He's trying to run somewhere, and he can't get there. He's just running.
Mine's fast asleep in the kitchen, so it's good.
Oh, he loves the bark.
What type of dog is he?
He is a border collie type dog. He's a mutt.
Oh, I've got a King Charles Spaniel.
All my dogs are
the regular Cocker Spaniel.
Similar to, so they're a little bit smaller. She's a Blenheim colour, so it's basically like brown and white. They've got the long ears. They've got more. So their noses are more scrunched up than the Cocker
sweet
Spaniels.
Dogs.
Yeah, they're one of the best breeds that you can have, especially with a family.
So, have you ever been in Denmark?
There he is.
Have I what? Sorry.
Have you ever been to Denmark?
No, I haven't.
Because I'd like to.
Is that you?
I'm trying to find someone to actually talk to him about the Tulin man.
It's crazy.
He was actually found in a bog. They call him the Bog Man. I don't know if you ever heard that story or not.
I know a little, not much about it, but a little about it.
And how he had a rope around his neck and his throat was slit and everything else. And,
oh, sorry, I was smiling at the dog. Not the story you were telling me.
He's a Chihuahua mix, if you can't tell. What you doing?
Bless.
He's rotten.
You said the Bog Man?
Okay. Yeah, Bog Man.
I write the stuff down.
The Tulin, Tollund man.
Yeah, I know the story of the Bog Man. They found they were cutting peat moss.
Peat moss, right?
And found a
I know it's in Europe.
Mummified man. The bog actually mummified him.
Oh wow!
And
it would do because it's so dense, isn't it? And it would keep the heat out. Yeah,
and the acid,
it's cold.
The acidity in the soil. But he his skin is still intact.
Wow.
Yeah, he looks. You can even see the whiskers.
I'm gonna have to have a look into this properly.
I
won't forget it. The Bog Man.
But he's like. He's very old. Very old. It's like before, like kings and all that stuff. It's like
they
was like a
think
sacrifice.
He may actually predate Egyptian.
I think I know who you're talking about now. I remember.
Yeah,
but I believe they said he was used for a sacrifice. That's why he was tied and then his throat was slit and he was thrown into the bog, and that's why he became mummified.
Maybe.
But for some reason, I had it in my mind that was in the UK, but then I just looked it up and didn't know.
Did they guess his age? Did they have an age estimation on him?
No, they didn't have an age estimate on him. Wrong one.
Yeah, I'm just dying to get to England for the historical stuff. So as a kid, I became a big Sherlock Holmes fan.
Oh, of course.
Read all the Arthur Conan Doyle books. I still have my original. Book of all those Sherlock Holmes. So, just all the little places and traveling and stuff. And it's always been a dream of mine to go.
Seriously, some amazing places.
Something religious, what Charles said.
Yeah, London's got some fantastic places, and it's actually got disused underground, obviously, under the ground level, and it's where they used to use for the air raid shelters. So people would go in there that were in London, and you can do tours in there now.
Charles just said he believed that guy was Druid. I believe that's
Druid.
what he was. He was Druid.
Mhm.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I felt like something religious. I just like something religious. That's all I could say. I was just thinking like he was something religious. I don't know what it was. I just
Well, I'm
felt like
curious.
it.
You're a medium, right, Charlotte?
Mhm,
You're a medium. So, do you like a receiver, basically?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So I'm a
being in
vessel
the
for spirit.
UK, being in the UK with all the history that's there in the UK, you must be like 24/7 nonstop with shit just coming into your head constantly.
Yeah. If I allowed it, yeah, it would be. But they have to. It's like I have a mutual respect with spirit. I respect them, they respect me, and they respect that I have to have my life. I was brought to the earth plane to help people. I've been shown that. I have died myself and been taken out of my body, and I've been told I have to go back because I haven't finished what I need to do. And there's from a obviously I was born with the ability to connect, and it's on both sides of my family, so it's so strong. And since being very, very young, I've connected to them, and it's not just when I was little, it was more spirit that were in era wise nearer to my era, if you will, not going back too far. And then as I started to get older, that's when the centuries started to come in then.
Yeah.
You can distinguish centuries, like.
Yeah, usually with how they dress. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Not
actually
always.
physically, I mean, you see them, you see spirit. You just
Yeah,
don't.
so there's we work with all people that connect with spirit work with 8 senses, and they're called the clairs, which is just French for clear. And I work on not all the time. It depends what I'm doing. If I'm working on a murder case, with law enforcement, or I'm helping a family that haven't had a case that's been solved in many, many years, I will work with different clairs. Whereas when I'm working just doing readings and things, I can work with claircognizance, which is just clear knowing. So it's where they put the information into your head. I can also hear them. So there's clarity with their voice, and they will give me, and it's, I suppose it's why I've become very well known as being very evidential, because they will give me information that I could not possibly know, and it's so specific. This is just a quick example. I had a lady that I did a reading for in the first year of COVID, and a few months ago she put a picture up of this ring, and I'd said to her, there's a gold ring with the ruby inset. It's very thin, and told her where it was. Anyway, she came back, and this ring has been found, and it was where it was said. It was exactly how I described it, and there was even a little, it was so tiny, but there was even 2 initials on, and I gave her those, and it's things like that. It just makes it so evidential for that person. I had another one where they had a watch stolen, and I said it was in the tweed jacket, left pocket, and she said, actually, yeah, that is where she used to keep it. He used to keep it, sorry, her husband. And it was taken, and I told them who took it, and they got that watch back, and it's
Wow.
things like that. So, yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't been on Most Haunted yet.
Yeah, well, it's non-existent anymore. But I wouldn't anyway.
It might be why.
I'm going to go off track now, because that's what I do. This show is like, a fat kid in the candy store with ADHD. I'm all over the place. With your gift, have you ever picked up aliens?
So I haven't personally picked them up, but my mum has seen one, because where we used to live, it was quite a prolifically known area to have UFOs. And I will say UFOs, because to me, this is my personal opinion, but when we say alien, it just means somebody different to us, and yeah, I do believe that it is out there. But my mum had an experience where she was at a set of traffic lights, and she just saw this. She said it was very similar to a saucer shape appear ahead of her, and then basically as she drove around the corner, this ball of light just came into the car, and it was like this all around the car, and she had to pull over because she couldn't see properly, and she's like, please go, and it went, and so she's had an experience. So yes, I do believe in it, but I haven't had my own personal experience with that.
because I mean, I know they. I mean, they think they got. I mean, they communicate. Some people say they communicate telepathically. I mean, and then that's all part of, I guess, the same type of gifts that y'all have. I mean, you basically see spirit, and I was just wondering if that's the case with your gift. If you have that gift, like they could be orbiting us or whatever, and or just coming in, and you can actually read what's going on, or have a feeling of, hey, there's something there.
I do. I have. Well, no, you're right in what you're saying there, because I have had certain times where I felt, and this is when we used to live in that area, and I felt that there was something above, and I'd look up and there was nothing there, but I actually felt it, and I got pulled towards it. But then there was nothing there, but it is very, very similar. And when I ended up back on the dating scene, I was like, I literally, guys would walk away from me because they were afraid I could read their mind, and it's like,
what? We're real easy to read, I mean, the guy walks up to you like, oh, hell no, that's not going to happen. And it's just like, hey,
they're not always easy to read.
My first question would be, what are you trying to hide?
Exactly.
It's funny if you just said it just because.
Yeah, it's
I have to
crazy.
be careful because my wife picks up more on like living people's energy.
See, I do that as well.
So I have to be quite careful around.
You get your ass whipped for shit you ain't even done yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Is your wife quite empathic?
Yeah. Her and my daughter are both empathic.
Yeah.
My daughter tends to.
That's a good question, John.
Tends to feel more spiritually.
Yeah.
Like she. So we've done a couple of experiments with her in testing out. One by her design. She wanted to go through a place she had already been in, but she wanted to go back in blindfolded, and wanted us to kind of try to disorient her. And that one actually produced some really different results. Very, very interesting results. And then another one, we took her to a location she had never been to. And we told her nothing about the place. And it was actually the same jail we're going to. It's kind of for my wife and I, that we call that home base. We love
it's your go-to place.
Yes. But we took her there and we told her nothing about it. And she was able to walk through the building and say, okay, this is where they kept the women. This is where they kept the children. This is where they kept the murderers. And so she was just able to pinpoint every place in that prison without any knowledge.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. It is so interesting what people can pick up.
John was asking, do you find it hard to read someone when you're in love with them?
Oh, no, not necessarily. Like, I don't read someone's mind. This is what I'll say again. I don't read.
I want you to make sure you are stayed alert. I mean, open it all up when you come to meet David. Just make sure everything, red flags, take it all in with that man. I'm just warning you.
Bless him.
Oh yeah. Hey, Daniel.
But yeah, no, there's no reason why. It tends to be. Hi, Dan. It tends to be when it's about yourself, you don't always get as much information. Yeah. It's a self-preservation thing, But I have lots and lots of medium friends, who I will talk to, and they will give me a reading, and vice versa, And so you've always got somebody there that's got your back. If you can't pick up on it, because we're not infallible, we don't pick up on absolutely everything. We're not, superhumans. I wish I was Superwoman. No, actually, no, Wonder Woman. That's my idol.
That's mine too. I love her.
I've got to a size now with my weight loss where I can wear a Wonder Woman outfit. So I'm going to try.
That's what I'm talking about.
Halloween.
Yeah, but yeah. So when
I always wanted to be Batman. He didn't have any superpowers. He's just rich.
He has some pretty awesome gear, though. I mean, the stuff that he has all over him is pretty cool.
I'm Fat Man.
his boomerang, like the batarang. Fat man. You're a Thor. You could be Fat Thor.
I was driving. This the true story. I went to the physical therapy a couple of days ago. Yeah, I think it was yesterday, and I couldn't walk. I mean, this person, man, she done some shit to my back. I don't know what the hell she did to me. I was hurt, and we had to go to Sam's Club, and we went to Walmart, and I couldn't walk, and so I got on one of them scooters. And I swear, I made fun of these people before on the scooters, but now I know what it's like because I tried to hit as many people as I possibly could on that damn thing. I was the fat and the furious. I was the fat and the furious boy.
Were you hangry? Were they in your way of the food?
I was riding.
After my back surgery, I had to ride around on one of those because I couldn't walk long distance, and it makes you feel for the people when you see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister has certain illnesses, and she struggles with her walking because of them. One is cerebral palsy and dyspraxia, and we went to Disney World. I have to laugh about it because it was hilarious. But my mum hired her a scooter, and she was banging and she was getting angry because people were just ignoring her that she was coming through, and she was expecting everybody to clear the way, and it's like, no, they don't. You just have to move around them, and she just couldn't get the gist of it, so she was like bump, 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 and it just got such a joke by the end of it.
I was so pissed off because what I was doing, I was driving down the aisles, I was staying to the side, people could pass me and stuff, and people would put their buggies in front of me, and I got to the point where I said, screw this. I just started pushing buggies out the way. Push them in, I'll just put it. And then people like, what are you doing? Get that shit out of my way. I was just an angry little fat man on that scooter. That's all
they do come with horns, Howard.
Oh, yeah, I was blowing. I didn't need a horn as much cussing I was doing. They didn't need no horn. People heard me from halfway across the store. Get out the way. I was just mad. I would stand up on the scooter and drive it. I mean,
I have a different kind of question for Charlotte, and I'm a Bigfoot enthusiast. That's why I get that nickname, and I have huge feet. Does the UK have a Bigfoot legend creature?
Not Bigfoot, obviously, but we have the Loch Ness monster, which is in Scotland. You know, and that's very much similar, you know, to Bigfoot. Obviously there's been sightings, there's photographs been taken, things like that, and I think to this day they still think that it's there, you know, and so yeah, it's interesting, and there's so much like research done, and this is why, you know, let's just use Bigfoot as an example. It actually has been really interesting me recently, listening to people like yourself that actually go out and look for information and things. And I think it's fantastic. You know, it's so good because there's lots of things out there we can't explain.
For me, the thing that does it with the Bigfoot, it's not the footprints, it's the hair samples. Because there's literally thousands of hair samples from unidentified primates.
Yeah.
That are, you know, they ship them off to universities, and universities do DNA researches on them. And they cannot find
inconclusive
a known match for the hair they're finding.
Yeah, I know that because my ex-wife, I did that to my ex-wife. She a Bigfoot. She is a Bigfoot.
Well, like I said, I'm 6'3" and I wear size 15 shoes, so I kind of feel like distantly related. But,
she's a Bigfoot.
The Yowie, yeah, the Yowie. I've heard of that before.
Yeah,
I'll have to get you to teach me a little bit more about it because it's all new to me, the whole Bigfoot thing, you know. But it does interest me so much. And at the end of the day, it's like they're always finding new species of things, aren't they? You know, like in the sea and things.
Can you run?
Can I run? Yes, I can run.
Fast.
Yes.
You just gotta outrun the guy you're next to. That's all you gotta do. I mean, you come to the United States and they bring you on an investigation. Tell them they're going to go Bigfoot hunting. They put you out in the middle of the woods. You banging on sticks and stuff and all kind of just to raise up awareness to try to get them to come. And if you see it, you just gotta outrun.
Shaking his head.
You outrun the guy that's next to you or the woman next to you. If you can beat her, then you ain't got nothing to worry about.
I was just raised different, Shaw.
So you would be behind me.
I was raised by a Southern Baptist minister who told me I need to be afraid of 3 things in this world: God, him, and his belt.
Oh yeah.
So growing up with that in mind, I've never really been afraid of anything. And if I was, I did my best to overcome it. Yeah, I'm guessing you're in Australia, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's where the
She's from Australia.
She was,
yeah.
I got 2
There's some
questions.
beautiful people in Australia, and I know there's one watching at the moment. So
one's from Donna. She's
That's
asking,
another place I want to go.
I want to
if
see
you
her.
had,
I'm actually going out there.
If you had a child and they got an attachment, could you pick that up?
Yes, I have lots and lots and lots of clients with things happening with their children. So yeah, you can.
That's kind of my bread and butter is going to people's homes and trying to help them.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I got into this field.
And I have to say that is one of the reasons I do what I do. It is literally to help people because, and on my show yesterday we had a beautiful colleague of mine, Sarah Warman, who's a medium, and she just put it so beautifully. And it's if we do everything with light and love, it really does come back to you and helping people. It doesn't have to be for monetary gain. It's helping people,
Well, she's saying not clients. She's saying not clients,
she said
but your
she can't
child.
read her own child. Like if you see her other comment, it says she's very sensitive.
Oh, sorry. So
but she cannot read. She has a block for her own child, and she doesn't know why.
Yeah, not clients, your child.
Oh, there's something I can help her with that if she wants to contact me. So you can pick up, because it always comes down to your nearest and dearest, and a lot of the time you can't necessarily get information for them. However, there are ways and means you can do, and it is a form of a blockage. So we can work on that.
And I got another question from Adam Ramus, and he's asking, are you near the Titanic Museum?
No, I'm not, unfortunately. It's a bit far from, well, not far, but it's I think it's how far is it?
About 20-minute drive.
Further than that,
7 hours.
I believe it's a bit more than
7 hours
that.
you're getting on a plane. I mean, I drive 7 hours. That's nothing. I mean,
a friend of mine came over from the States, and he could not believe how quick we got to places. He's like, what? Just going shopping, and it's like, we're here already.
Damn.
Yeah, for us, like for me personally, I live outside of Fort Wayne. It's like a 35-40 minute drive for me to get to Fort Wayne. And Fort Wayne is like the big town near me, the biggest town near me. But like I can be in Chicago in 3.5 hours. I can be, St. Louis in about 6 or 7 hours. So yeah. So those kind of places we drive.
Yeah.
We have
you haven't got a choice, have you? You either go plane or drive.
Ask Jeremy.
Well,
Young.
we have a large.
Young takes him 2 days to get to places. He goes to Vegas. He goes from Indiana. Yeah. So I mean, it takes him a couple of days to get where he wants to get to.
And he drives.
Wow.
And he drives.
But we have a really elaborate interstate system here that allows us to get where we need to go pretty quick. And I understand, sometimes, driving in other countries, they don't quite have that interstate system. So I know.
They're introducing smart motorways here, and people are in uproar about it, to be honest, because here on the motorways we normally have, or you would highways, we normally have a hard shoulder where you can stop if you've broken down. With the smart motorways, they've taken that away. So they've also taken away the through fare that the emergency services can use to get to an accident, and they're having to now fight through vehicles to get, and it's ridiculous because they want 4-lane motorways instead of 3, coming to Heathrow Airport or going up the M6 to Manchester.
What you do when you break down?
You have to literally put your hazards on and hope for the frigging best. It's terrible. It's terrible. And they're not even quick, because they have, obviously the police used to handle breakdowns and things, but now they have the highway agency who have drivers that come out in their vehicles. But it's not good. I mean, I've seen numerous accidents and things, and one guy broke down in the fast lane, and he wasn't even in the slow lane. It was like, dude, this guy's going to get killed, and it's so bad. they think it's people just don't like it.
I'd love for you to.
Here we have soft shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose that would be similar to a hard shoulder, I suppose, would it? Soft shoulders? Yeah.
But it's just like they'll have a little gravel strip and then it's grass.
Oh no, we would have a designated lane which is called the hard shoulder, and then you'd have a bollard stopping you, if you hit, and then grassland or whatever's there.
No, we got actually shoulders. I mean, it's like another lane. You can actually go into that lane and do what you have to do.
She's been here. I'm assuming she's driven here. I don't know.
Yeah. I drove to New York.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, wow.
She goes to them Yankee states up there. She goes all
my favorite New York moment. I went to Allentown, Pennsylvania for a friend's wedding. And for his bachelor party, his dad took us into New York. Now, his dad grew up in Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn, so he's got that accent. And his dad takes us in New York. And the second the light turns green, we're in the city. The car behind us is blowing the horn.
It's so bad.
And he's got the window down and he's yelling, "Oh yeah, what else your mom get you for Christmas?" And I'm just cracking up in the back seat of this car, dying laughing. And then we get on the subway, and I'm looking at the wall like this, and I'm like, "Are those?" And he goes, "Yeah, them's bullet holes." And I'm like, I'm from Indiana. Nothing ever happens here. We have corn and soybeans. That's it.
And whiskey then.
It's gotten so bad here in in New Orleans anyway, that people are actually getting shot in their cars. They'll go to a red light, people walk up to them and just shoot them in their cars. Well,
I went out to Baghdad in Iraq on business, and that was like, I would not drive there. And from the airport, I was in a bulletproof vehicle with an armored guard, and it was literally your life was in your hands. And they were literally. So say it's left-hand drive like here, sorry, we're right-hand drive. Sorry, say it's left-hand drive like you guys. They'd be going up the road, and all of a sudden, on your side of the road, there's somebody coming back the opposite way, as if they're going to go like this. And they don't care. They just drive wherever they want. It's like, no, thanks.
It's like India. There's no lines on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's
Turkey was pretty bad to drive in as
well. That's what I was going to ask you about Turkey, because somebody was a question earlier. Somebody asked that. I think it was Ireland.
Turkey people are crazy with vehicles.
They don't. Have you investigated? How many countries have you investigated in? And
so
Turkey would be one of them, because you said you was there for Turkey for
I didn't actually, but I was there doing singing actually. So I was there for a year doing that. But no, I didn't actually investigate there. But it's a very interesting place, and it's you see the culture, and there's some beautiful Turkish people, but then also you can get the bad in any place, can't you? And while I was out there was a Russian prostitute shot dead on the beach right by my hotel, and it's like, really? And they fight to the death. They don't just fight with fists, they fight to the death. They are true fighters, and there's a lot of mafia connections out there and things, I actually went. I didn't realise I'd gone into one. I went with a friend of mine, and he took me to a mafia den, and I was like, what?
"Oh my gosh!"
But it was so different. There was a woman obviously in Turkey, they cover up, and this woman, she loved me because obviously I was English, and she was there singing. She had me up singing, and it was actually really good fun. They came, and my friend who I went with, they literally just surrounded us with food. Just brought food out, and they were really welcoming, and it was actually a really nice time. But there's some fantastic history. Now, I do believe there's only two actual churches in Turkey, and they have their mosques and things, but there's Istanbul's steeped in history, and it's a beautiful place. Very, very much
on earth.
There's a lot of tea too. There's a lot of tea being drank there, because I believe it with English
coffee.
Turkish
coffee is
Turkish. Yeah, so it's Turkish tea, but it's a different tea to what the English drink. But there is, and it's actually really nice. But the Greeks have it as well, and it's lovely, really nice.
They don't drive very well either, and they make
No,
you
they
eat
don't.
food. They try to make you eat even after you can't eat, and they just force you
Yeah.
to eat.
I go poop and come back. That's what I would do.
Well, you can't always do this. Sometimes they won't even let you get up because they think you're going to get away.
So
Italy's like
going
that
back
too,
to
I
your
know.
question of how many places, let me have a think. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Greg.
I think that's
I
right.
have to say there's 7 different countries that I have been to, and not it's countries. So it's interesting what you can get as well. You know.
Well, you need to come south. I'm gonna tell you that now. You need to come south. You
You need
done
to
been
come
up there north
to Howard's
investigating.
Country.
Yeah, I
His
can
own
get you
country.
Howard,
transport like
take
I
you
never
down there
been.
and show you some alligators.
Yeah.
I'm actually in Nashville in November. I'm in New York in
See?
October.
Oh, Nashville.
I showed you that.
I have family that lives near Nashville.
How far
I
is
love
I
it.
don't even know. How far is Nashville? I know it's
From
Tennessee, but I don't know how
From
far it is.
me, it's not that far, but
about 10
It's
hours,
about
I
a
think, from my
6-hour
house.
drive.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
It's about
where
6
I have
hours for
family that
me.
lives
I'm
right
straight
outside of
north
here.
of there.
Mm.
Yeah, we're
I've
got
we
fascination.
on the Gulf of
They
Mexico.
have Tennessee,
Yeah, right there.
Right.
Kentucky, and then Indiana.
When
Right.
you go to Nashville, though, the people there will be very nice to you.
Yeah.
They'll be
The hell
very,
you
very
say?
nice. They will speak very slow, and they will be very nice.
The hell you
Oh.
say?
You're going to hear a
I've
lot
been-
of people saying, "Nah, child, nah, honey."
You go to
Oh, not
Nashville.
yet. Yeah.
You go to
And
Nashville. I'm
yes,
gonna tell you what you
ma'am,
see
and
in
no,
Nashville.
ma'am.
Yeah.
You don't, in the
What's a
Nashville,
ma'am?
you're going on the interstate, and the only thing you see, your first thing you'll see is fireworks stand. And then you go down about 5 miles down the road, and then there's a porno shop. And then you go 5 more
No,
miles, and there's a
no.
fireworks stand. And then
Fireworks,
there's a
yeah.
porno shop. I don't know what the hell their fascination with fireworks.
Lots
is
of
stand on,
fireworks,
but
yes.
there's a lot of that shit going on in
In
Tennessee.
Arkansas, too. Oklahoma and Arkansas. Arkansas more.
I've always
fireworks.
wanted to go there. It's somewhere I've never been. So,
Like
but I
a
know
fireworks show. Oh, Tennessee.
in Arkansas, but I know that
Yeah.
what I do wouldn't be necessarily welcomed very well. Just from what I can gather, anyway. But
They
I'd love
don't
to.
care
I'd
that they
love
live
to
so
go.
far away from each other. It's all down like Broken Bow and all. That's all Indians and all that stuff. So,
Yeah. They would
No,
welcome you. The Indians would be like, come
Oh
on.
yeah.
Let's go.
A lot of
I'll find
reservations.
something.
I have a question for sure. What genre of music did you sing when you were a singer?
Well, I've got a very eclectic taste, but I was classically trained, so I did classical music. But
As in, like what? Give us an example. What kind of music?
So, well, classical music. So it depends what. Like, have you heard of Catherine Jenkins?
Well, like the 60s
Yes.
and the 70s, that's called classical music.
No, it's
So you
not.
sang some Bee
Not
Gees? You
classic
gonna sing
rock,
some Bee Gees?
Howard.
Not classic, classical.
Classical, like as
Yeah.
in
Rock Me on My Days?
Something that
What?
you
I
would
don't
sing
know.
in a production or a play or something.
So you'd have like you've got.
like
I
like the
did
words
sometimes I do ballads. It depends because obviously my voice is different to doing that to doing classical, you know. And when I used to sing in the church choir, it was more on the classical side.
Right.
But I remember when I was younger, it was very strange because I found my classical voice very strangely. We were at the Blackpool Tower, which is really famous in Blackpool. We were doing a choir competition, and we were singing away, and all of a sudden I got this click in my throat, and my voice just changed, and it was like, what? Where's this come from? You know, and yeah, it was really weird, and it was like because I was forcing it out because we wanted to be the best, you know, and yeah, this voice just came out, and it was like, whoa.
Almost
I
like
was
Pitch
thinking more
Perfect.
like oh gosh, who was that? Christensen and
Hans Christensen.
Hans Christensen, yes. I was thinking more along the lines of that when you said classical and like
You need to get with Jeremy. Jeremy is a lyrics man.
Sorry, it's
He
just
writes music all
breaking
the
up a
time.
little bit then, sorry.
Jeremy York. He's on my team. He's the owner of the network that we're on. He founded it, but he's the guy who he writes a lot of lyrics.
Yeah.
For songs.
I think like because I got
Huge
brought
Richard
up
Marx
listening-
fan.
Oh, I love Richard Marx.
And I think because I got brought up with such a different, you know, lots of different genres of music. It was my taste is so eclectic, you know. But like I love Il Divo, you know, and you've got obviously Pavarotti, and you've got all the greats.
Like
and
opera.
Yeah, that is opera, but obviously it's on of a classical nature. But then you've got people like Celine Dion. I love Celine Dion, you know, and
I love her.
yeah.
When I'm doing
Bless her.
laundry, like if I'm stressed out, I play Celine Dion sometimes.
Yeah.
When I get aggravated, I just think about Celine Dion.
Ever since Titanic, I have a hard time listening to her because that song was played on the radio over and over.
But she sounds so good when she sings it like a bird or something.
Yeah,
you know,
she's
like,
a very
I
great singer.
specifically
She
will
is.
play
Well,
that song while I do laundry.
Actually, my foundation, that's our theme song. It's from Celine Dion.
Is it?
Yeah, Ashes, Out of Ashes. Ashes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's a lovely song.
But have you heard that song, Ashes?
I don't know the song, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's powerful. It is very powerful.
I'm still stuck in the 80s and 90s. I mean,
what about what's her name? Adele.
That's the first person
Sorry,
I thought
it
of.
just broke up again then. Sorry, I missed what you said.
He said
there,
Adele, and that was the
Adele.
first person when I thought you sang that I would think of as Adele.
It's like you sing like Adele.
I'm not that good. She's got a fantastic voice, you know. But,
She does.
I was saying, I'm still stuck in the 80s and 90s.
That's good.
I mean, you've got like one of the songs that I used to sing was "Tell Him," and that was Celine Dion and Barbra Streisand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would actually sing both parts. And how I did it, I don't know, you know, but I did it to my own way.
Like I said, if you want the neighborhood dogs to start howling, I can sing, but
I don't think your wife would appreciate that right now. At this
no,
time
it's
of night.
I'm a terrible singer.
It's almost 11 o'clock. She'll be pretty angry, I think.
I have found actually with the singing, it's on investigations. It's taken quite well, you know, by spirit.
Yeah.
They love it.
Oh, I bet. I can imagine. I think that music is such a force that drives us in our lives, and why that wouldn't carry over with our spirits in the afterlife would be beyond. You know, to me, that just makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it with music,
with it.
Yeah.
Could you cleanse somewhere with music? Couldn't you?
Do I what? Sorry, say again.
Couldn't you like cleanse a place with the right kind of music? Probably.
Yeah,
do.
I do. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
that would be
Wow.
like something I would think would be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
I'd like to try it. I need to find out how you actually do that, and I might try that. You know,
So everybody out there, when I pass away, if you're looking for me, just you know, throw on some old classic rock, and that'll help me get going.
I think Scotty would be drawn to that too.
I'm an old like Metallica fan, and I listened to a lot of that growing up. Guns N' Roses, Poison,
big hair band.
Yeah, the big hair era. It's so obvious, right? I loved like the 80s Brit invasion music,
Pink Floyd,
The Cure, and Simply Red, and a lot of those bands from back.
And you had like Fleetwood Mac as well in the 80s.
Oh, I love her. Yes.
Yeah.
Heart. I loved Heart.
Oh yeah.
Oh, me
oh
too.
Man.
And the Bangles.
Oh, the Bangles, yeah.
Love them.
That was that.
And obviously
that was
the Beatles. You had the Beatles.
Yeah.
I remember. I was fifth. I was in 5th or 6th grade, and I had such a crush on the lead singer from the Bangles.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one's the lead singer?
Susanna Hoff. Huff or Hoff.
She's really pretty.
That little brown-haired girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had the other one that was a singer too.
Yeah, I had such a crush on her. That was my first female crush.
So have you tried singing something like like rap? Have any rap come into your mind? Or,
reggae?
No.
Elton John, any type of his music come into your mind?
I love
There's a guy here. I don't know if you've heard of Dizzy Rascal. He's like a rap artist here. And there's some of his lyrics I can do, but I can't rap to save my life.
What about someone like the Sex Pistols?
Yeah, probably not.
No, I'm like
Can't
really
do scream.
intrigued.
I was
anything
really
like
into they were Irish. What was their name? Babble to the cover. I know the girl's name and I can't think of the name of the band.
What is the song? What did you say? I was too busy reading Eileen's comment.
They did like Zombie and
Are you talking about Dolores O'Riordan?
Cranberries.
Yes.
Oh, the
The
Cranberries.
Cranberries. Yeah, I was
Oh,
really
I
into
love
that.
that
her.
song. Zombie is just fantastic.
Yeah. I was
Pretty much
really into
anything
that
that she
movie.
sings is fantastic.
I could not think of it. My mind just went blank.
And she wrote
It's
most of
just,
her
I
music.
love the lyrics of it because it's where it goes, what's in your
Eileen's
head?
picking on me, I know.
In your head. I love that song.
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
me too. And I really like the Bad Wolf
She loves
tribute
Zombie.
that they did to her too.
Yeah, they
They
did.
remade it. She actually passed the day that she was going to go in and record it with them.
Mm-hmm. I saw them in concert when they released that song like the week.
So what was your first rock concert? That's a good question. What was your first rock or concert, period?
Whose?
And
Everybody?
Charlotte. Yeah, I
Oh.
was going to go down the road. We're going to ask Charlotte.
Concert?
Your first concert.
I actually, so concert-wise was actually Robbie Williams, sadly enough.
Really? No,
yeah. But because I
used to be really pretty good.
Yeah.
And
I because I used to frequent the theatre more, so I was in theatres watching ballets and well, anything really that was on. And the Nutcracker was what I first watched when I was 10. The Nutcracker ballet, and it was gorgeous. But yeah, concerts wise was Robbie Williams, but I've been to a few since.
Okay, Rosie, how about you?
I've been to too many.
My first concert.
I was a radio disc jockey.
Your first concert, Rosie?
I think my first concert, because I've seen over 260 bands. I've seen a lot of bands, and I'm not finished. I'm going to more concerts this year, like 3 or 4.
What was your first one?
I think my first one was Audio Adrenaline.
Wow.
It's a Christian rock band that's really good, and I was a teenager in high school, I think.
See, I love Nightwish and Amaranthi as well. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I like them too.
Yeah.
Those ladies
my first concert ever was a Christian rock band as well called Petra.
I know who that is, yeah.
Yeah, and then my second concert was Guns N' Roses.
I love them.
Wow.
I'm jealous. Jealous.
Big
I have to say I'm a bit jealous on that one too.
My first one was a Christian
Angels,
one also.
Yeah. Robbie Williams did the Angels.
Yeah, it was a Christian rock group.
Yeah.
It was a Motley
Crue.
Crue.
Some other songs too. Motley Crue.
They were not a Christian rock
They were
group.
Christian. Hey, look, I walked in that
were
stadium.
not.
There was a cloud that was in there, and you had to duck under the cloud because if you didn't, you wasn't going to be right. I mean,
well, I mean, so like I've sat in the green room with Jimmy Buffett. I actually emceed.
Wow.
He's from Orlando, and I was a DJ in Orlando, and I actually got to MC his coming home concert. He does one every year there.
The Beatles at Red Rock. Greg said he saw the Beatles at Red Rock.
Oh,
and the Doors.
Yeah.
And Def Leppard. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
No,
Eileen Jones.
I've interviewed everybody in rock from
Kids on the Block. Oh, bless Eileen.
What?
Oh.
Did she really say it?
No, I've interviewed everybody from Jimmy Buffett to Prince to
Gloria Estefan.
Oh yeah, Gloria Estefan.
Charles said he was the king. That's Elvis. That's cool.
Yeah, I got to meet a lot of people in the pop and rock world here.
Hanging tough. I
think my love was Eva Cassidy.
Oh yeah.
So I've done a lot of her songs as well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I've done. I've got to interview a lot of them and stuff. So it's for me, it was always fun to get to interview these guys and get to kind of fan crush a little bit on some of them. One of the coolest people I've ever talked to was Alice Cooper.
Oh my
That would be
goodness.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is like in that world. He is like the most intelligent guy I've ever talked to in my life.
Yeah.
He is so smart. But yeah, and he's such a cool guy. He's very laid back, very open, very honest.
Mm.
He's not that like he's like what I am on stage is a persona.
Right.
And then what I am when you meet me is something completely different.
Only
Yeah,
one I met,
It's like that for a lot of people, isn't it? For a lot of singers.
Yeah.
the famous rock singer I've met was Paul McCoy. He's from Ponchatoula, which is not that far from me, and he sang with what was the name of that group? Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
Also, he did that. He also sang a duet with Evanescence.
Evanescence.
Yeah,
They're from Arkansas.
And she fell off the building and all that stuff. That was Paul McCoy singing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that song as
He
well.
also used to be in 16 Stones. The guy,
what?
he used to be in a band called 16 Stones. Also,
Ah.
Yeah.
You got my first Jeremy's was Alabama. Oh, play me
I haven't even
mountain
seen him.
music.
Hey, I love
Grandma,
Alabama, man.
my grandpa
I do
used to
too.
play it.
And Alan Jackson. I like
I
Alan
can't
Jackson.
stand
My
it.
grandma played the banjo. My grandpa played the harmonica.
I used to play harmonica.
And some of my earliest memories are of my grandma playing banjo music. So I've always loved country music as well.
Banjo music out in the woods in
Greg
Louisiana
asked
and
if you
Mississippi.
sang any of the
No.
old
I'm
animal
running.
songs.
I'm running.
Not in
buddy.
the hills in Kentucky, my friend.
I'm running. I hear banjo. I'm running. I don't give a shit where I'm out of the woods. I'm
You
out of
just
there
come
so
here
fast.
where I live and you will hear those a lot.
That's my Howard. That's my favorite Jeff Foxworthy joke when he was talking about the Olympics being in Atlanta, being in Georgia. And he said if Ned Beatty couldn't, they said they're doing the kayak races on the same river they filmed Deliverance on.
Oh my goodness,
God.
that's funny.
And he said if
It's
Ned
scary.
Beatty couldn't make it down that river, a Frenchman in a pair of bicycle pants doesn't stand a chance.
Howard ain't messing around with no banjo in no woods.
My daughter can play the ukulele.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
My daughter
me
has
too.
it.
So cute.
I have a teenager that likes to play the ukulele.
I've got my guitars.
Yeah, she plays that as well. It's in my log cabin at the moment.
I'll play a pull boy. I'll
Ukuleles.
play that sucker from one end to the other.
Yeah, like a harmonica.
Yeah, I'll even sing this. I'll just go down on that.
George Clooney and Bernie. I bet Bernie Mac is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but like I said, I just think music is like one of those things that connects people.
Yeah, I've always thought that too.
Yeah.
And I really believe it has the power to connect us over time and space.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think
Like,
it's like with when you, especially when you like if you're investigating theatres and things like that, you do get children in theatres. It can't be helped. It just is what it is, And when you start singing, we did Windsor Theatre, and then I was singing on the stage, in the investigation, and it brought so many of the children. They were popping heads in and everything. It was just so sweet.
Yeah.
And the adults were as well. You had your residuals who'd just sit there and watch, but music's a fantastic way. We've got obviously we've got a motion sensor that my colleague Liam's just got, a new one, and it's it plays nursery rhymes on it, and when we were at the Mermaid Inn the other week, it just kept getting played with, and it was on command, we were saying things to them and they were doing it, and it was these two children, so they love music, so it's a good thing when you're doing investigations to actually incorporate music, even if you can't sing, maybe play some music,
Yeah,
that's what I do when I go to the cemetery to visit my daughter and everything, and I do my own flower arrangements. I'll sit down there and make flowers all day long for her. And while I'm there, and I'll play on my phone, I'll play her music, the stuff that she liked, and that's what I would do the whole entire time.
He's got the guitar.
Yeah. This is my pride and joy. This is the first one I got. I bought it for $30 at a garage sale.
Oh,
It's actually a classical guitar. So the bottom 3 strings are steel, and the top 3 strings are
Cool.
vinyl.
Vinyl.
So it's got a little bit of a different sound. But this is a 1972 Fender FC20 classical guitar.
that goes
That's
like
a
that
good
for me.
price for one of those. It would be worth a lot more now.
It's a guitar to me.
The guitar itself was worth like 150, 175 bucks.
Wow.
But the case, it was in one of those old hardbound leather cases.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be worth more probably.
So the case is actually worth like 250 bucks. Yeah, this is my classical.
When you see
guitar.
those now, they usually aren't in very good shape.
Yeah, well, the problem with these are the necks warp, the fretboards warp.
Yeah.
So after I bought it, I took it to the music shop and I had him clean the fretboards and restring it and everything. And he's like, the neck's actually straight on this one. And he actually suggested to hang it on the wall to keep the neck straight.
Yeah.
So that's why I do it. It hangs on the wall in my bedroom.
That's why they do that. I didn't know really that's what
Yeah,
they
because
did.
they do in the shops, don't they? They have them hung
how
up.
do you do that?
Stand,
I mean,
yeah.
how do you do that, Tim? I mean, it hangs in the wall. Where you walking
Or
in?
stand.
You're seeing your wedding photo, and you just like get this shit off the wall. Hang the guitar up there, and how did Crystal react?
That's how Howard does it.
Crystal actually was the one who hung it on the wall for me. She did it for a gift while I was at work. I have a little bit of problem playing right now because I have some numbness in my hand. But yeah, it's a little out of tune. Yeah, it just has a really warm.
It sounds like Metallica.
Yeah, that's the person playing is out of tune. The guitar is on.
Well, I just
I've got an idea. You could play and I'll sing.
I just restrung it, and one of the strings, my tuner. One of the strings is still stretching. That's the problem with vinyl strings is they stretch.
Yeah.
So when that vinyl string stretches, it gets out of tune really easy. Yeah, it's like almost a whole octave off.
Play some Talking Heads.
I'm not quite that good, Howard. But no, I just strum around on a lot. But yeah, it's like this is just a D chord. Once I get that one finger to work. So it's just it just has a more it's like this is like a really good guitar to play the opening to Stairway to Heaven on.
Yeah. I thought you were playing the beginning of Nothing Else Matters.
No.
At the very, very beginning.
That was just a D chord. It's just yeah. If I
thought it almost sounded like a cat got run over, but go ahead.
It was a goat, not a cat.
See, when it's in tune, it sounds better.
Jeremy, that's what I was just saying. We need to get you and Charlotte hooked up. You're the lyrics man.
Oh yeah.
And Charlotte's the singer, and then we get what's his name? No, what's his name?
Ryan Seymour.
Ryan Seymour.
Yeah. He does a lot of music, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a real good guitar player. I mean,
yeah,
doesn't he make music for people too? Though he actually makes introduction music for some of you guys for your videos and your shows and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
I do. I think that's why I enjoy doing the singing for during readings because I miss singing. Although I do it at home and things with the children, I miss doing it professionally.
Jeremy coming, he's got like he'd be
bless Jeremy.
But he has some seriously good lyrics.
Yes, he's very good at writing music.
Yeah, he's very good at writing music.
That's funny. I used to be.
I'll have to get in contact.
Yeah, I just like to goof around, but my main instrument is the sax. Like I said, I played that professionally in a couple jazz bands. I've done a lot of big band stuff, really, but I love playing saxophone. That's like my number one instrument.
Yeah, that's like my number one.
Good
it's like a French fry po' boy. Then I get a roast beef po' boy, shrimp po' boy. I can really tear up a French fry po' boy now.
No, one of the things I do use on investigations is a harmonica.
Yeah, see, it's an instrument. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's you've got to remember, spirit come in. I've forgotten the number of hertz it is now. It's gone out of my head. But they use the hertz of sound to actually come in, sound waves, and so things like that. It raises the sound wave, and it helps.
Well, one of the things I've been trying to do with the harmonica is to get a spirit to just blow into it. Just to get that sound.
That would be so good.
That would be awesome.
Can
just
you
to set
imagine?
it
Oh
out,
my God.
set it up, and say, here, just blow into it, make this sound.
It'd be like the flashlight test. You know how you put the flashlight.
Yeah, it would just
basically
be a
the same
validation thing, but yeah.
You could try bells though, or wind chimes.
Yeah.
It'd be easier
I mean,
because they're hanging and they have no gravity. They're
Yeah.
just hanging there, so it'd be easier for them to touch it. I feel like and make a noise, maybe less energy.
But I went a little crazy with it. I got both a C and a G harmonica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna be specific.
Yeah. I was like, well, I can't get one unless I get the other one.
All right, guys. Well, we got the call tonight.
Yeah,
It's 10:08 here. And I know Charlotte's probably like
4:08.
Yeah.
She's ready to go night.
Yeah, I have to
Good
be
job I
up
don't
at
have to get up with the
5:30.
kids in the morning.
Yes,
But,
me too. That I actually need to put them to bed.
We appreciate you coming on tonight and
Thank you
sharing
for having
everything.
me. I've enjoyed it.
I look forward to being with you on your show March 5th. So
Yes, you are.
That'll be fun. Well, I'll just cut up on that show. This won't be because it's a UK show. I mean, I know a lot of stuff to jump out. Oh Lord.
Yeah. Thank you.
But it is airing on an American network, so
Yeah, this is easy.
Yeah.
Well, you're the
Over
first
there.
person I've interviewed in the last 2 years that has told me that you have a voice and you sing when you do this. So it was very interesting, and I really love talking to you.
New stuff to talk about.
Definitely want you guys on my show as well. Definitely.
Yeah, you can't say stuff. You can't say shit.
Anytime.
They even frown on
Just
saying
messages.
You can't. You got to say poopy, and then you go.
Who?
So you got to watch that UK shows.
I've been on UK shows before.
I have too. I had a UK show.
We're not
Show.
that much stick up the backside,
Yeah.
We're all right.
One show. That's all it took was one show, and then it was
just Howard. That's what it was.
Yeah. They didn't understand my.
They were like, "Where did this wild animal come from? Is this a?
It was
Bigfoot?
a good
Is
show.
this American Bigfoot?"
I had. It was called.
You better go.
It was called. What was the name of
On the
show?
live.
Oh shoot! Now I can't think of the show.
He
now.
meant to end the live video, by the way.
Yeah, I got to end it. But no,
Not everybody.
I was on there with Jolene Jackson Lockwood. That's who I was. That was the other host, and I had a guy. Let's end this, and I'll tell you that story. But thank you for coming on tonight, and we appreciate it. A lot of people.
Charlotte, real quick, Charlotte, where can people find you at?
Yes.
So it's mainly obviously on Facebook. It's Charlotte Underwood International Medium. It's Special Medium UK. And then there's Paranormal South Coast UK, which is at Discovering the Truth. And I've got YouTube all over really, but just if you look under my name and Google it, you'll find me somehow.
And your show?
Yes, also yes, sorry, nearly forgot. So that is Spirit Whisperers Live, and that's run through Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram.
Yep. 3 beautiful British women that run that show. There you go. It's all women.
Oh.
Just like you got 4 beautiful women that run the Hey Boots. I mean, that's all.
Well,
good.
we have 3 now.
3.
At the moment.
So
I'll come and guest chair for you.
You could, yeah.
It's early enough for you. It is early enough for you because it's 6 o'clock here, so it'd be midnight for you.
Yeah, it'd be earlier than now.
Oh, late.
Oh, wait.
It is, but it's not as bad as right now.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, though. It's been a pleasure.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all watching, and tune in next week, and we'll have another guest, and we'll talk some more swamp talk.
He doesn't. Have a good night, everybody.
I do.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.